You were born one of the best worlds the Imperium of Man has to offer. That is the bad news. On most planets in this galaxy, a strong, healthy boy grows up to farm a field or fight in a trench or die quietly of something small and stupid that nobody bothers to write down. On your world, a strong, healthy boy gets noticed. And getting noticed means they will take you apart and rebuild you into something that is, technically, still you. By the time it is over, you will have 3 lungs, 2 hearts, and spit that can burn a hole through solid metal. You will also never see your family again, and you will slowly forget you ever had one. Welcome to your life as an Ultramarine. It lasts a very long time, which is not the mercy it sounds like. Let me tell you where you are. Your home is Ultramar, a cluster of worlds out on the eastern fringe of the galaxy, far from the ancient heart of the Imperium. In the old records, it is called a realm of hundreds of worlds, and it is genuinely run better than almost anywhere else humanity still clings to. The roads work, the harvests come in, the taxes get collected on time, and the recruiters always know exactly where to find children like you. But better does not mean nice. It means the machine is efficient, and you are a part it has already accounted for. Your capital world is Macragge, and it is cold, mountainous, and unbearably proud. If you grow up here, you are raised on discipline and duty before you can even spell either word. Every single boy dreams of the Ultramarines, the blue giants who stand between Ultramar and the dark. Their statues fill every town square, carved taller than the buildings around them, faces set in permanent grim resolve. What nobody carves, of course, are statues of the thousands upon thousands of boys who tried to become one of those giants and simply never came back. There is no monument for the ones who fail. There is only the next recruitment drive. Before anyone touches you with a scalpel, the chapter needs to be sure you will not waste their most precious resource. So first, they try to kill you. The trials change from world to world and from generation to generation. On some, you are dropped into a frozen wasteland with no food, no map, and no promise that anyone is coming to collect you. On others, you are locked in with boys your own age and told that only the whiners eat that night. Understand this clearly. The point was never raw talent. Plenty of talented boys die in the snow. The point is whether you keep going after your body has already begged you to stop, and then keep going a while longer after that. Most aspirants fail here, and failure usually means death. Some freeze. Some are killed by the boy standing right next to them. Some are simply not good enough, and on Macragge, good enough is a bar set impossibly high. If you survive all of it, congratulations are in order. You have just earned the right to be experimented on. In hindsight, the trials were the easy part. Now they rebuild you, one organ at a time, using something called gene seed. It is grown from the very flesh of your Primarch, a genetically engineered demigod who has been dead or lost for 10,000 years. Every implant is a seed of him, placed inside you. If your body rejects even one, you die on the table, and the chapter simply moves on to the next boy waiting in line. Nobody weeps over you. There are always more boys, and the galaxy is always hungry. So here is what they put inside you, roughly in order, though the exact sequence shifts depending on which ancient text your apothecaries happen to trust. First comes a second heart. From now on, if one heart stops, you simply keep fighting on the other. Dying, it turns out, takes noticeably more effort than it used to. Then the os modula gets to work reshaping your bones. Your ribs fuse together into a single solid plate across your chest, like natural body armor. Your entire skeleton grows dense, heavy, and hard as carved stone. One small side effect: you will never float in water again. The Biscopia then floods your body with a torrent of growth hormones and you get bigger. Much, much bigger. The boy your mother once knew is already gone by this point, replaced by something that has to stoop to get through an ordinary doorway. Laramon's organ makes your blood clot almost the instant your skin breaks. Dep wounds seal themselves shut while you keep on moving. You can be run through with a blade and simply keep walking, which sounds wonderful right up until you think carefully about what kind of work requires a man who can be stabbed and keep walking. The catalepsian node lets one half of your brain sleep while the other half stays fully awake and watching. You will rarely ever sleep properly again. On the other hand, you will almost never be caught off guard. It is a fair trade, assuming you never much cared for dreaming. The pre-omnor is a kind of pre-stomach that neutralizes most poisons before they can reach anything important. You can now swallow things that would kill an ordinary man in minutes. Rest assured, you will be asked to. The omophagia is stranger still. It lets you learn by eating flesh. Bite a chunk out of a slain enemy, and you can absorb fragments of its memories and knowledge. It is exactly as horrifying as it sounds. And yes, it is a genuine, expected part of the job. A third lung, the multi-lung, lets you breathe smoke, poison gas, and the thin air at the edge of a vacuum without so much as coughing. Toxic death worlds stop being a problem for you, which is, naturally, precisely where the chapter tends to send you next. The oculobe rebuilds your eyes until you can see clearly in total darkness and stare into blinding light without flinching. Lyman's ear sharpens your hearing and permanently cures motion sickness, which is honestly the closest thing to a genuine gift on this entire list. The Sus-N membrane can drop you into depth-suspended animation if you are mortally wounded, freezing you at the very edge of death. You might be found on some forgotten battlefield centuries later and revived, just to be sent straight back into the fight. Rest, you will begin to notice, is never actually an option they offer you. The melanochromic organ hardens your skin against radiation and lets it darken to shield you from harsh light. The oolitic kidney and the neuroglottis work together against poison, one endlessly filtering your blood clean, the other letting you literally taste danger in the air before you ever swallow it. The mucranoid coats your entire body in a thin, waxy protective film, letting you endure searing heat, killing cold, and the freezing emptiness of open space. The Becher's gland turns your saliva into corrosive acid. You can spit clean through a wire fence. You can also, if it comes to it, chew your way out of your own restraints, which really does tell you everything about the kinds of situations your commanders expect you to survive. Then come the progenoid glands. There are two of them. One nestled in your neck and one buried in your chest. These are the important ones, so pay attention. Over the long years of your service, they slowly grow fresh, precious gene seed. And when you finally die, this is the part of you the chapter genuinely wants back. Not your courage, not your name, not your body, just these two small glands and the future they contain. And finally, once every other implant has taken hold and settled, comes the black carapace. It is a sheet of black interface material, grown just beneath your skin and threaded through with neural connection ports. This is the piece that lets you plug directly into a suit of power armor and command it like your own flesh. Without it, you are simply a very large, very angry man rattling around inside a very expensive metal coffin. If all 19 of these implants take hold and do not kill you, you are no longer human in any way a doctor would recognize. You have become a living weapon that just so happens to remember having a mother. While your body is being torn down and stitched back together, they get to work on your mind as well. They train you in your sleep, feeding entire lessons directly into your brain through huming machines you will never be allowed to understand. You learn weapons drills, battlefield tactics, and the sacred catechisms of the chapter without ever once sitting in a classroom. And you learn something else too. You learn to fail less. Fear, doubt, grief, hesitation, all the small, soft, human things that get ordinary soldiers killed are trained down and down until they barely whisper at the back of your skull. Your old memories fade away right alongside them. The town where you were born, the faces gathered around a dinner table, the name your parents gave you the day you arrived. In the space they leave behind, the chapter installs itself as your family, your history, and your one true reason to exist. And none of this, not a single moment of it, is ever presented to you as a loss. It is framed, start to finish, as a promotion. Now, at last, you are a neophyte. You are strong, you are fast, and you are mostly rebuilt, but you are not yet trusted with the heavy armor or the honor that comes bolted to it. Instead, you are assigned to the 10th Company, the Scouts. That means light armor, long combat knives, and every last one of the worst, dirtiest jobs the chapter has on offer. You go in first, always, before anyone else. You crawl through enemy lines in the dark. You mark targets for the battle brothers who will come crashing in behind you. And you finally learn what a real battlefield actually smells like. A great many scouts die right here, quietly, and far from anything anyone would call glory. This stage is where the chapter quietly finds out whether all that priceless gene seed was worth spending on you in the first place. Survive long enough and prove yourself often enough, and you will finally earn the last implant and the ancient suit of armor waiting to receive it. The black carapace goes in last, and it changes absolutely everything. Once it takes hold, your power armor stops being something you put on in the morning and becomes something you fell. A second skin of ceramite wrapped around your rebuilt body. That armor is ancient, blessed by 100 solemn rituals, and heavier than a small ground car. Yet you move in it as though it weighs nothing at all, because to your new nervous system, it genuinely does. Then they hand you a bolter. It is a weapon that fires small, self-propelled rocket shells that punch deep into a target and then detonate inside it. To the rest of the galaxy, that is a terrifying object. To you, it is standard issue, unremarkable, the tool you were built to hold. And with that, you are a full battle brother of the Ultramarines, one of roughly 1,000. Sit with that number for a moment. A single 1,000 warriors tasked with holding a realm of hundreds of worlds against everything a hostile galaxy can possibly throw at it. Do that math exactly once, and then try, very hard, never to think about it again. Everything about your chapter, right down to how many of you there are, follows a single book. It is called the Codex Astartes, and it was written by your own Primarch, Roboute Guilliman, in the aftermath of a catastrophic civil war that very nearly tore the entire Imperium apart from within. That book dictates how you are organized, how you are trained, how many brothers stand beside you, and very often exactly how you are permitted to fight. And the Ultramarines follow it more faithfully than any other chapter alive. You belong to one of 10 companies. The elite veterans hold the first. The main battle companies fill the middle ranks. The scouts wait down in the 10th, precisely where you began your service. Your chapter master is Marnius Calgar, a living legend who has led your brothers through horrors that would shatter the mind of any lesser man. Your captains are heroes with towering statues of their own. You are one small, disciplined component inside a very large, very tidy war machine. And Guilliman himself would be proud of how neatly you fit into your assigned place. Guilliman, incidentally, is not dead, but we will come back to that. Your enemies are not soldiers, at least not in any human sense of the word. They are horrors, and they arrive in numbers your rebuilt mind still struggles to picture. The Tyranids come as a living tide, an endless, ravenous swarm of teeth and claws that strips entire worlds down to bare rock and then drifts on to the next. On Macragge itself, in one of your chapter's darkest hours, a vast hive fleet fell upon your very homeworld. Your entire first company, your finest and most honored veterans, fought and died to the last warrior, buying with their lives the precious time needed to save the planet. The servants of chaos are worse, but in a different way. They corrupt, they twist and lie, and worst of all, a great many of them were once warriors exactly like the ones who forged you, fallen at last to the endless whispers of the dark gods. Beyond them wait the orcs, the necrons, the eldari, and a dozen other foes, each one offering its own unique and creative way to end up dead in the mud. You will win most of these battles. The Ultramarines usually do, but that little word, usually, is doing an enormous amount of quiet, grinding, terrible work in that sentence. Some brothers are pulled aside onto special paths, and not one of those paths is anything remotely like a rest. Become an apothecary, and your duty is to heal the wounded, and, when they cannot be healed, to cut the gene seed out of the dying so the chapter can grow fresh brothers from what remains of them. Become a chaplain, and you carry the burning faith and the cold rage of the entire chapter, and it becomes your grim task to whisper hard courage into the ears of the doomed. Become a librarian, and you learn to bend the raw power of the warp itself, a gift that can just as easily burn your mind to ash or crack open a doorway for the things that are forever clawing to get in. And if you are ever broken far beyond any hope of healing, yet judged simply too valuable to lose, they will seal whatever is left of you inside a walking iron tomb called a Dreadnought, and they will wake you only in the moments when they need something dead. You can serve like that, half man and half machine, dreaming in the dark between battles for thousands upon thousands of years. Eventually, after long decades or even centuries of unending war, your luck finally runs out. It always does. When you fall for the last time, the apothecary comes for you, but not to save you. By then, you are already gone. He comes instead for your progenoid glands, those two small organs that have been quietly, patiently growing precious gene seed inside your body across your entire life of service. From that recovered seed, the chapter will grow brand new brothers. and those brothers will carry a small fragment of you into battles you will never live to see with your own eyes. You will not be given a grave marked with your old name. You surrendered that name a very long time ago, and by now you have forgotten it entirely. What you will get instead is a single small entry in an endless chapter record, and a living piece of yourself carried forward inside a stranger who will never once know your face. That, when all is said and done, is what it truly meant to be born an Ultramarine. Not glory, not peace, not even rest, only continuity. So there it is. That is your whole life, chosen, cut apart, rebuilt, and spent like a single round of ammunition. And here is the part worth remembering. You were one of the lucky ones. You were born in the best-run corner of a slowly dying galaxy, raised among efficient roads and proud statues, and it still ended with a grim man in blue armor kneeling over your corpse to harvest your organs on a battlefield light years from the home you no longer remember. Your Primarch himself, the demigod who made you, returned from the dead to lead the Imperium of Man once more. Even that did not make the war any easier. It never, ever does. You were born an Ultramarine, and in the grim darkness of the far future, that was about as good as it was ever going to get. There is one more debt nobody mentions in the recruitment sermons, and it is owed in your own flesh. Every 100 years, the chapter must surrender a portion of its gene seed to the Adeptus Mechanicus on distant Mars. It is called a tithe, and it is not optional. The priests test each sample, catalog it, and pass judgment on how pure your bloodline still runs. Because gene seed is not a permanent thing, grown organ after organ, brother after brother, across 10,000 years, it drifts, it mutates. Tiny flaws creep in, generation by generation, and a chapter that lets those flaws spread unchecked does not simply weaken, it falls. It becomes something the Imperium hunts. So consider what that means for you, specifically. The 2 glands harvested from your corpse are not just seds for new warriors, they are evidence. They are checked for corruption, and if the taint is found in you, the brothers grown before you are watched, and the brothers grown after you are watched harder still. Your body was a record, and the chapter was always reading it. The Ultramarines guard their purity more jealously than almost anyone, which is exactly why their line has lasted where others rode it into monsters. That discipline kept you human enough to fight. It also meant you were measured, sampled, and audited your entire life, right down to the marrow. You were never trusted, not fully, not even by the men who made you. You were simply pure enough to be useful, and useful enough to spend. That was the whole arrangement.